Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Carolyn, and we're two sisters who love handcrafting and figuring things out.
Welcome to episode 8. We are still traveling, both on the East Coast, but in different places. So it is actually August 9th, 2022, and we are pre-recording because we'll be on the move again, and we have some things to talk about, and we didn't want to wait too long. So welcome to episode 8.
Yeah.
Carolyn, what have you been up to?
I know. It's so great to see you, and it's so funny because I feel like we're like a really close family, but as a family, we like never talk on the phone, or like whenever we're apart from each other, like we have very little communication. And then once we get back together, we're just right like that. So I know some families like talk on the phone every day, but it's like so good to see your face and hear your voice. I really loved all your postcards too. So that was fun doing that. Okay, so what have I been up to? I guess since our last video, I am now in the beach in Delaware, and my husband's family has a beach house here that's been in their family for a long time, and both my son's families were down here, so we had all the GGs, all the grand girls, and just time at the beach, and it's been very relaxing. I'm in our van right now just to have a quiet space to record. I just have to tell everybody it's like 97 degrees here, and so I'm a little bit moist, shall we say, a little sweaty. So just it's been fun. Just the beach is just such a low key. Been eating a lot of seafood, hanging out, drinking some beers. So
I don't know if you remember, but grandmother used to say when it was really hot and humid that it was close outside, because it sort of like sucks onto you. Like she would say, it is close out.
Oh, I don't remember that expression, but that's good because you almost sort of feel it like pushing in on you. But you walk up. We're really lucky. This house is like a block and a half actually from the beach itself, so you can just kind of come and go during the day. But you walk up to the beach and it instantly drops like 10 degrees. It's so
glorious.
Nice there. Yeah, it's so great. So been fun, and we're winding down in about a day and a half. We'll get back in our van, and we have to like hightail it back to Northern California. We have 5 days to get back because I'll get back and then I have to start school. Well, work. The teachers just come back, so I'll have it. I'll report to work, I think on Tuesday, and then the kids won't come till the following week. So I'll have a little bit of time. But so you kind of get that feeling that summer is winding down.
Yes, every summer for me, or most summers have a pattern to them. And I'm feeling that feeling of like, okay, squeeze in a few more like vacation-y kinds of days. I'm also excited to see the kids. So
yeah, of course. And I always feel a little entitled when I say this because it's a luxury. Okay, let's just be honest. It's a luxury to have this time off in the summer. It's a really nice perk of teaching. And I know many people don't have that. So I do sound a little entitled. I'm like, oh, I've been off for 10 weeks or whatever, 8 weeks, and now I have to go back to work. So
yeah, I know what you mean, but just any sort of adjustment for anyone. It's just an adjustment. It's like a really big difference in schedule on each end.
Right.
In the beginning of the summer and the end of the summer.
Right. Okay, so Anna, what have you been up to? You're now on the East Coast.
What are you wearing, Carolyn?
Oh, should we talk about what we're wearing too at the same time? Okay, so I'm wearing this t-shirt from Title IX. Does anybody go to Title IX? We used to have a Title IX in our town, but it's closed. Actually, this is my favorite t-shirt. I wore it all just for you all. I like it because I have very broad shoulders. It has a nice little V-neck. I like the little cap sleeve and empire waist. So my t-shirt from Title IX. Okay, Anna, what have you been up to and what are you wearing?
Well, I had to say that because I finished my t-shirt, which was in our Stitch It or Ditch It, and I put little cap sleeves on, and this little felt, it's hard to see, felled sleeve. So I sewed this little sleeve on, sewed the little edge under, and then there's a seam, there's a hand seam, and then the neck edge is actually has a little stitch. Probably too hard to see on the Zoom.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try wear it a few times and see if it's a keeper.
Yeah. Okay,
Feels-
Anna, you're cutting out a little bit. I wonder if it's your internet or mine. So we'll just, anyway, everybody, we're trying our best. We might cut out here and there. Anna, I hadn't even noticed the cap sleeve. I'm sorry. I saw that. I'm like, what a great t-shirt. The cap sleeve looks great. Yeah.
Wearing it with some white jeans.
I wish we could do a catwalk. I know. So well done following your marching orders. I'm like, by the next episode, you have to have that finished. So Anna, I'm so glad you did. It looks great.
To be, I really did feel a little pressure.
Okay, good.
Good. I'm very happy to have it done.
Yeah.
So that's one of the nice things about an Instagram and a FlossTube. It's a little bit of encouragement to kind of keep going, especially through the indecisive or hard times.
I agree.
At least for me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So where are you in the world right now?
All right. So I am in Virginia, and I have been playing with my Gigi, my grandgirl, baby E, and I was able to deliver that little blue play romper that I made her, and been actually taking care of her on some of the days her daycare is closed. And it's just been so fun. She's pulling up and cruising along furniture and doing a lot of pointing and like that, you know, no words yet, but really you can just see the brain connections happening.
Yeah. I love the picture you posted on Instagram
in an Airbnb.
Yeah, good. What room are you in right now? Are you in your bedroom?
Oh yeah.
Good.
All right, I am getting a little message that my internet is unstable.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna hear as much of you as we can. It was only cutting out one time, so I think we'll be okay. What about your trip to the Smithsonian?
Yeah. So if you ever have the opportunity to take the DC subway, the metro, and get off at the Smithsonian stop, to me, it's like magic because you come out from underground and like the DC Mall is there, Washington Monument, Capitol, the Smithsonian buildings. I always wish I was an owl so my head could go like this. I don't know. I find it really striking. But I really was on a mission. I wanted to go to the Museum of American History and I wanted to see a sampler. And I did a little looking on the internet before I went, but a lot of the samplers said, not on view, not on view, not on view. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to see one. So I headed right to the information desk in my mask, you know, excuse me, are there any samplers?
Any samplers? Requested samplers?
Yeah. And the person at the information desk was really, really friendly, but she did not really know how to, she wasn't connecting. She said, well, there's a quilt downstairs, and said, okay, I'll be sure to look at that. But then I noticed that there was a special exhibit on girlhood. And one of the categories in that exhibit was education. And I thought, I bet you anything there's a sampler in that. It was really, really cool. It looked through girls' experience through decades. So there was a gorgeous sampler from, no, I didn't write down the date of that one. It was just classic with the alphabets, and then there was embroidery at the bottom with the trees that were beautiful. I mean, I seriously went back several times to look at it.
Is that the one you posted on
interesting.
Instagram?
We'll put a picture in if we can. Yes. And then there was a couple of other ones that were really interesting because, again, it was an education exhibit. So there wasn't really a lot of talk about the individual person who did it. The girls were named and there were dates, but it was sort of in the context of a girl's education. So one of them was this little sampler that was, I think it was a very dark thread. It might've been black. It was from 1799 and it was to mourn the death of George Washington. So his the day he died was in it. And it was like a way to, I think the caption was something like growing good citizens or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the other one, so these one were not as pretty as the first, but they were very interesting. The other one was like a geography lesson. It was 1843, a map of Pennsylvania. So there were some alphabets and there was a border, but it mostly was an outline of Pennsylvania, and then it had like New York on top of it. It had a few, I think it might have even had some names of some rivers or something too. Yeah. So again, if we can put pictures in, I take a picture of each of those three. It was super satisfying visit, and in the fashion part of that same exhibit, there was a paper dress, and I've always dreamed of making a paper dress. It
Wow.
was super mod. Really cool.
What decade was the
Yeah.
paper dress from?
I think it was the 60s,
Mhm.
1960s.
Yeah, that
Pretty
feels
sure.
right. Isn't it
Because
fun?
it was right next to embroidered jeans.
Okay, yeah, Holly Hobbit.
Yeah.
You know what? I love when you go to a museum and like you have like a mission or a goal, because then it's like a treasure hunt. You know, like you want to, find that one thing or find that category of thing. So this weekend you'll head for the rest of the family vacation.
Yeah, so we'll meet up with some more of our extended family.
Yeah.
Won't see Carolyn, but
I know our family goes to this family camp in West Virginia that you go the same week every year. Like we're the second Sunday in August when our family goes. But unfortunately, and like usually almost our whole extended family goes. But because of the way school schedules work now, like several of us are just not able to go because we have to start school. So it's kind of unfortunate.
yeah.
So, but you guys have
Thank
fun
you.
and have some good desserts for me, okay, while you're there. Yeah.
We'll text you occasionally. No phone calls.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, just text me some pictures. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is thank you, you guys. The Stitch It or Ditch It episode was so fun for Anna and me, and we loved all of your interactive play. Like we got so many fabulous comments on the YouTube and all your suggestions and ideas. They were great. And then the Instagram polls were so fun to kind of watch them go. So what we thought we'd do right now is just to tell you what the results of the polls were. And they're still available on Instagram under our Stitch or Ditch highlights section. So if you want to go see them, but we're going to tell you what the poll said, and then we're going to tell you what we decided. Okay, Anna, you ready for this? Okay, so I wrote it down. So we'll
and I just want to. Oh, thanks. And I just wanted to reiterate, I mean, I feel the same way of what Carolyn just said. And it just like, it reminded me of like how many ideas come out of brainstorming and collaboration, because from the comments and even with some of the people in our lives who were talking to us about it too, it was just so many ideas came up.
Yeah,
Really
you're right. And it also made it more fun because like the ones that I decided, and we'll see in a minute, that I'm going to stitch, I'm like really motivated right now. And any ones I decided to ditch, I'm like, great, like let's just do it and move on. So it felt good. All right, so Anna, and what we'll do is we'll put a quick picture of the one we're talking about. And if you want to know any details about these, you can go back to episode 6, Stitch It or Ditch It. And if the chapters will get you right to the one that you want to see. All right, so Anna, number 1 were your colorful quilt tops. And this had 3 options in the poll to pick, and 72% picked to repurpose it as a bag or a dress. Okay, so Anna, what did you decide to do with your colorful quilt tops?
Yeah, and I have to say that I was leaning towards where the commenters went when we made that episode, but I'm now for the really, really big one. I almost decided to use it as a tablecloth because it actually fits our outside table perfectly. But in the end, I decided to go ahead and bring it to a long arm quilter and finish it and use it as our beach blanket, because my husband really wanted to do that. And that was, okay, he wins. Like, yeah, if he wants that, for sure, we're going to do it. And I was looking through a bin of my quilt fabric, and I have there's a deep purple in that quilt, and I bought yardage for the back already. So I'm just going to put like plain, solid purple on the back. And I before I left for vacation, checked in with the long arm quilter who has done a quilt for me before, and she's still quilting and she's available. So when I get back, I'm going to take it. And then the second one, I'm either going to quilt myself, or I have to say, I'm not like, I wouldn't be at all surprised if I decided to make a shirt out of it.
Okay. So even though people said repurpose it, for the big one, you're totally going to stitch it, and the smaller one, you're still a little bit on the fence on that, but you might hand quilt it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
A couple people said to me, you know what, a quilt doesn't have to be like, I don't want to say beautiful. I don't know. They said, like, if you've made a quilt top, just go ahead and make it a quilt. Just do it.
Yeah. I love the idea of making it.
So
okay. So my first one was Jane Hardy, which was the cross stitch. I'll put it right here. This one on the polls also had 3 options, and it was really close, but 43% of people said stitch it. And you know what? I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to put that.
Okay, I'm surprised.
I know, but just, although I got to tell you, there were a couple of commenters that were like, I would love it. So if I start to stitch it and I don't, there's one commenter in particular, I'm not going to say, I'm just going to send it to her because she was one of the earlier commenters. I don't remember her name, but she was just like, oh, I'd love it. So, but I think first I'm going to use it for Sampler September and have that as one of my pieces for that. So I'm going to stitch it. And if I end up, okay, let's put it this way. I'm going to stitch it, but if at the end of Sampler September, I'm still stalled, I'm going to send it to that commenter who said she was interested.
Great idea. Okay.
Okay. Anna, your second one was the needle point, and we'll put a picture of it right here. All right, that just had two options, stitch it or ditch it, and 66% of people said, Anna, ditch it. All right, what are you gonna do?
It's ditched. It was ditched the day of our. That was my easiest one. And you want to know something interesting? My daughter, who I'm visiting here, when I arrived, she said, Mom, I ordered a needlepoint from Unwind Studio. So she got a project for for next week's vacation from them, and it's slices of oranges, and she's already started it. You like that one?
I love that one. Did she get the threads from them, or did she pick them out herself?
She did. It looks so great. She started a little bit. She was away last weekend at her in-laws, and she's using 3 or 4 different stitches, and the texture is looking great. The colors are looking great. In fact, she actually has some little dishes that are similar colors. And so I think she's going to put in a shadow box in her kitchen or something like that. It is beautiful. So it was just kind of, I don't know, it was sort of like full circle because I have so much admiration for that company, for someone in the family to have ordered something and to have so much fun with it.
MK, I don't know if you're watching this. That kind of surprises me a little bit, but I'm glad because I know she's sort of looking for like crafts and stuff. And I think she could really enjoy needlepoint, especially with a small baby. It's really easy to pick up and put down. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And it gets it even better because she sewed herself a fold over clutch a couple of years ago. The needlepoint canvas is the perfect size of the clutch. So she has them all stored, just, you know, how she is. She's very efficient. And anyway, that is just a really happy related.
Ask her, because if she doesn't mind, let's put a picture in of her work.
Okay.
Okay, if she doesn't mind for that.
I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, that's great. All right, so my second one was the Cruden vest. And again, I'll put a picture of this here. And this one the poll had 3 options, and it was so close. 38% of you said stitch it, and 44% of you said make it into a pillow. And some people that said stitch it also had some great ideas in our YouTube comments about how to style it or different ways, or on Instagram said it. Yeah. I loved all those ideas. I'm making it a pillow.
Okay.
Okay. So when I get home, where it is, I'm going to just do the gray ribbing at the top and make it a pillow. Okay, Anna, you look a little disappointed.
I'm sorry. You know, sometimes my concentration, sometimes when I'm listening, people are like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm great. It's so interesting. I know you so well. And we made that episode together, and I'm just feeling surprised. I really didn't know what you would decide. It's really, really fun. Maybe. Okay. So wait, have you ever made a pillow from something you knit before?
Yeah. I actually made this really great knit pillow that a dog ate.
I was going to say the cat. Yeah.
I think it was, I think it was a dog we were taking care of. I won't name names. And I've still kept that pillow top because I loved it so much. I'm like, I'll fix this. So yeah, I actually think so.
Did it have like curves to it?
It had, you know what? When I'm home, I'll show it on the next FlossTube because I still have the.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna become a pillow. Right. All right, Anna, the number 3 for you. I'm looking down here, everybody, because I have my journal. You had the polka dot throw. Okay, this only had stitch it or ditch it in the polls. 50-50. 50-50, which surprised me. Okay, Anna, what are you doing with that polka? Because we know what you did with your shirt. Okay, so polka dot throw, what's going to happen to that?
So my original idea was confirmed as I was finishing this. As much as I like handwork, there's something about using 2 strands of thick thread, and I like the look of them being parallel. That I do not find it relaxing, and I want it to be relaxing. So I am looking for a new home for that. And I will, when I see our lady fam or folks this next week and a half, I will ask around and find a good home for it.
All right, you're gonna ditch it, but find a good home for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Would you like
maybe
it?
if nobody in our lady fam takes it, maybe we can throw it out. Not, and I don't mean throw it out, but put that out there in the next episode if anybody here watching would like to take that on or something.
Yeah. I still think it's really, really pretty. And the jersey is so soft, but I don't want to do the stitching.
Mhm.
Though actually one of the commenters says, well, why don't you just stop where you are? Like you don't have to do the overlay.
Yeah.
Because third color that needs to go on. I thought that almost persuaded me to stitch. But when I was doing this, finishing this shirt, I just thought, at least for now, this season, it's not for me.
Yeah, great. Okay, ditch it. Good.
Yeah.
All right. My third one was the crochet blanket. Put a picture of it here. And that one had 3 options and pretty strong. 64% said finish it as a smaller blanket.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to do. When I get back, I think I'll get back like on a Monday night. So Tuesday, the following, let's just say Monday, I'm going to work on it for 7 days a week. And wherever it is after those 7 days, it's done. So I'm going to start by weaving the ends in. So that's not going to be a good task. And I'm only going to use yarn that I have. I'm not going to buy anything new. Work on it for 7 days, finish it. And I actually kind of like the idea of having it like when one of the grand girls comes over to spend the night or something, it's almost like a perfect like little kid when you make their little bed or something, use it for that.
Yeah.
Make it
that's really like a nice little dimension you've added in there. And I want to offer to weave in all the ends if that would help you.
No, I can do it. It's like one of those jobs, like it's not that hard. It's just like getting started. Once you get started, I'm just going to do it. So 7 days. And if all I do in the 7 days is weave the ends in, that's where it is. If I add a couple more colors, we're just going to call it done and make it a smaller blanket. So it actually helped me to hear so many people are just like almost that people just like smaller blanket, smaller blanket, smaller blanket. I'm like, okay, smaller blanket. So that was good. All right, Anna, your fourth one was the Hinagaku sweater. And I'll put a picture of it right here. And I think I might have mentioned this when we posted the polls, but you were able, like if you, depending on which way you go, there is more yarn available. So remember that was a big stopping point. All right, so there are 3 options for this one. And 59% of you said, have Carolyn stitch it.
I saw some of the comments on Instagram and on our YouTube comments of like, I like the way this poll is going.
I know.
Because what I decided was I like the sweater enough and I'm still interested in knitting, like maybe knitting one thing a year or something like that. But I do know, as curious as I am, sometimes I need to sit next to a person. I just need help, not like look it up at a video, not like, and I feel like I'm at a point with this sweater with the sleeves where either if you're interested in finishing it, I could release it, or if I could make a date with you to sit down next to you. So I ordered the next stain and it arrived. It's a slightly different color, but there's a little bit of variegation in it all.
There's a way to knit it so it just blends together. There's a way to do it. Okay, so Anna, I am like 100% on board. If you want me to knit it for you, I'm 100%. I'd love to finish that. But sorry, there's a fly like on my screen. But at the same time, if you want to do that instead, like just get together like on an afternoon or evening or something and do it yourself, that's fine too. So
maybe when it starts getting cool, and I get in a knitting mood, we'll make that. So thank you. That's really generous offer.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And I'm so glad you encouraged me. Because you said like, well, have you looked recently? Because I was looking for more during the pandemic, and sure enough, Fancy Tiger had it. Yeah.
And I think too, I think it's going to be more wearable if you're able to just finish it in the purple, so that the green up here is the main accent for that. Okay, great. So when you're thinking sweater, just at that point decide, I'm totally happy to finish it for you.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Thanks. I'll check it.
And then my fourth one was the JC cardigan. I'll put a picture of it here. And this one, we also had 3 options, and 61% of you all said, stitch it for Anna. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish it, Anna, and I'm going to give it to you. One thing I'll just have to check when we get home is where your sleeve length should be for the sleeves. And then I'm going to give it to you. And if you wear it, great. If you end up getting it, because I know you say you don't always like wool sweaters. If for some reason you don't wear it, like my feelings won't be hurt. You know what I mean? Like get it. And if it feels like it fits into your wardrobe, wear it. If not, it will be done and we can pass it to somebody else. But I am going to finish it, and I'm finishing it for you or whoever else wants it.
Okay, thanks, Carolyn.
I loved it. So many commenters like on YouTube were very like kind. They go, well, it looks good on both of you, but I think you should make it for Anna. So
I actually think it might have had something to do with the particular outfits we had on that day. But anyway,
who cares?
Yeah, because that was what these two sweaters were our last polls, right? Yeah, so it was hilarious the way I got like a really good end of the deal.
I know. Anna texted me and she goes, because I'd posted the polls, but I was traveling, so I didn't really look at the results for a while. And Anna goes, polls are looking really good for me today. So that was really fun. All right, so everybody, thank you again for all of your participation. It made it so much fun for us and so inspiring for us to now actually do something with that. And Anna, let's do this again like in a few months. I have other things that I could put in here. And
yeah, I was thinking at least every summer. And for people who said that you were thinking about doing it for yourselves, I can't recommend it more. It was fun. It feel like sort of lighter, like those things that were sort of just stalled when you push through them. It just feels so good.
It does feel so good. Okay,
yeah.
So
if you need us to weigh in on your
just
weigh in with you.
Email us or leave us a comment or on Instagram, show us, and of course we'll give you our opinions. We're always happy
crafting friends. Exactly. All right, so should we move on to our works in progress?
Let's do our FOs first.
Oh yes.
Okay, why don't you go first? I think you have one and I have one.
Great. So modern folk embroidery, bird of a feather for pin cushions. You should have seen me the day before I left. I was prepping linen. Yeah, I know.
I love every single one of these, Anna.
Yeah. So I had the up in the attic from Fox and Rabbit, 32 count. Oh, I should put something.
Actually, can you put a piece of paper behind that? Yeah. Oh, Anna. Can you put it closer?
Sure. And it was fun. Same as always, the birds and then all the geometric stitching. And this is old red paint, which has a little bit of a plummy color to it, which I think was fabulous with the fabric. And my idea is to do all four each in a different color red, but I'm seeing some flaws in my idea. But that would be moving into WIPs. You show your finished object, and then I'll go on more with the birds.
Okay. First of all, Anna, that looks so great. I love that. Are you going to finish them as little pillows or like little framed items, or what are you thinking?
Right now, I'm thinking pillows with a little bit of a strawberry fabric, which I forgot to.
Oh, that's right. You had that on Instagram today.
Yes. The little swatch of it.
Yeah.
Because I want to try some wool roving, and I'm still digging the walnut shell. And I think I like the idea of having a little basket seriously for the kids. I know people say like you're going to cross stitch things and have 1-year-olds touch it. I find them so pleasing to the touch, and I can just see them using them. So he's going to have a little basket of smalls.
Oh yeah, Birdie's gonna have some birds. You can never start kids too early, like appreciating handmade things, I think. Yeah, in my opinion.
So that's my idea, but it might shift a little bit.
I love those. I'm going to stitch a few of those. Okay, my finished object is in my bag. That's from, I mentioned this before, it's called Ribbon Street. They're out of Santa Cruz, California. She makes really great bags for knitting, and it's my socks. I love wool, but I can barely touch them right now because it is seriously so hot out. So here are my self-striping yarn socks. Again, I love that asymmetrical toe. These have, for knitters, you know what I'm talking about. These have a gusset heel to them, and these were knit toe up, which means you start at the toe and end at the cuff. So just fun self-striping yarn. In the wintertime, particularly like if I'm hiking or stuff, I love wearing wool socks. They really are fabulous. And the color of this yarn.
Okay, that was my question for you. So you wear them when you're hiking? I thought maybe you wear them with clogs or something.
I do. I wear them with clogs. I love wool socks. I've always loved, like, even when I used to play sports, I used to wear wool socks. Because wool.
That's ringing a bell. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like with my cleats. And wool is this magical fabric because it actually keeps you warm when it's cold and kind of cool when you're hot. And they absorb so much. It can absorb like 200% of its weight or something like that in water and stay dry. So it's really like a miracle fabric. So here's the wool I use. Again, it was self-striping. So all this striping comes from the yarn itself. And I know I've showed this before, but it's just a little local dyer from Knit Spin Farm who dyes that. So just fun. And socks on when you're traveling are such a great project because you don't have to think a lot. Like when, like turning the heel, you have to stop and think, but in the car, you can kind of be like looking and knitting at the same time. So I think for my trip back, one of my nieces on my husband's side loves the Beatles. And I got this self-striping yarn that was called Sgt. Pepper's, like Lonely Heart Club Lane, you know, that song. And she's about to go to law school. So I was going to knit her a pair of socks in that to send her off to law school in. So I think I'll work on those on the way back. So that's
and the asymmetrical toe is brilliant. It's one of those things where, you know, like when someone invents something that solves a problem, you think like, I cannot believe we haven't thought of this before.
I know.
I put in that category.
I know, because all toes, they just always make them on all socks when you're hand knitting them symmetrical. And I'm like, my foot's not symmetrical. So I just kind of adjusted to get the asymmetrical one. You do have to think like when you put them on right versus left, but
That's good for us, right?
I'm willing to put in that extra effort for these. Okay, WIPs. Do you want to go first on your WIPs?
Sure. So I have started a second bird, and this has a little bit of an orangey hue, and I don't quite like it as much on the fabric as the plummy.
You know, it's kind of hard to see on here, so I want to see it on purpose in person. I'm not sure I feel the same way as you.
Yeah. So I'm going to carry on. Someone even asked me, are you going to finish it? Absolutely. Because I also have a pinky color. Yeah. And then I have even a darker, like a wine color.
Oh,
I'm going to go. I'm making 4 birds in 4 reds, and I felt they all complemented the strawberry fabric. Yeah. I might even put some seams on the front with some of the strawberry fabric peeking on some of them. And these have been fantastic for traveling. I stitch an hour or so at night. I got a cordless travel lamp.
Oh, do you have it? Can you show us? Okay.
All right. So I'm a big fan of the Daylight Company. I have to say, this is their cordless Daylight Go. So I've been plugging it in at night, and then it has a magnifier and a light, and it's great for a table. So sometimes, and you can, you know, change it to just the right angle. I'm finding it so easy to use. And you know what? When I'm sitting on the couch, I can put this kind of under my thigh and just stitch in my lap. So like when I come to your house to watch a movie, I can just throw this in my bag, and it folds up. So I've been carrying it in my backpack when I've been going over to MK and B's. It's one of those things where you think, because it was almost $100. It's really, it's heavy. It's well made. Yeah. But I'm like, I already have a beautiful lamp at home, but you know, and I have no regret.
It's gonna be interesting to see if you use that at home more, or like even if you want to stitch outside now. And the fact that it's cordless, so you charge it and then can take it around. Do you and does it have
last 8 hours or something?
Yeah. Okay. So do you sometimes just use the magnifying without the light, or do you always have the light going?
Well, because I think I've always used the light. I was about to say, I think I've only used it at night. It's fabulous.
I'm so glad you got that. And you know, I remember in a previous episode, you were talking about how important it is to have good tools. And of course, you know, we should all spend money that we have in our budget, like stay in our budget. But when you can get a really good tool like that, because if it wasn't weighted, it would be tipping over, you know, and it's something that you'll be able to use for a long time. It's so worth it, you know, for your enjoyment. Oh, I'm so glad you, oh, so cool. And you know
how I feel.
Yeah. Going back to your orange, I think it looks good, but it's going to look especially good when you have all 4 different. Are you using the Up in the Attic for all of them? Is it the same linen, but then just different? Or is it?
Why did we have this left? Was this the one that you started?
That was my Seasons of the Heart Spring that I started, and just it was the wrong color for that.
Yeah. So we had enough left over that I have
You can do all 4 smalls.
And I even have another little piece, which I don't, yeah, so I might even do 5 little birds, but for now, 4.
Okay, it's starting to get dark a little bit here. Not dark, but I'm just going to turn on some lights.
We can still see you really well.
Okay, great. All right. So did you have another, or I'll do mine and then if you have another one.
I have a hilarious other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
We can go ahead.
All right, great. So I have been working on Autumn Bird by Sunset Street. And I know I mentioned this before, but it's almost the exact same color palette as my Autumn. And for these, I want to frame them and just put them next to each other. And Anna, remember, well, we'll talk about the frame, but I have an idea of the type of frame I want to put it in. All right, so that's Autumn. And where is it? Here it is. So I'm working on the bird.
Oh, you've done a lot.
The bird still needs a wing and the rest of its tail. I'll say her tail.
It looks
I
so
love
good.
these. I love these. Okay, now lesson learned. Do you see this flower? And I need you in your pointer. See this one right here?
Yeah.
And you see it has a light yellow kind of vein going through it.
Yes.
So my light yellow vein, it had like 2 stitches, 2 stitches, 2 stitches, 2 like that, like almost like a staircase. And I only put in 4 stairs instead of 5. And I noticed I did that. I'm like, I don't want to rip it out. I'll just compensate around it. It was so hard to compensate because it was, okay, nailing it right now. Let me see if I can hold it. Okay.
There, that's good.
Because all of this section, and you know how she always does the overlapping colors. So all of that was affected because I was off by 1 staircase here. Okay. So I ended up having to improvise a lot here. I still think the leaf looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like
you would have never guessed.
You would have never guessed, but it was took me a little thinking. But it was a lesson learned being like, okay, sometimes it doesn't matter. You're off a stitch here, you can compensate. Something like that, that everything's going to go off of it, rip it out and redo it. So that was.
Or I almost feel like it's like 2 different kinds of extra effort. The extra effort of taking something out, or the extra effort of having to like think and not just look at the chart, look at the chart, look at the chart.
Right. But overall, I love her designs. I don't know what it is about them. So fun. Colors are fun. And every time, like sometimes when I look at my floss ring, oh, you know what, Anna, going back, do you remember you were talking about charms?
Yes.
And putting charms. I'm gonna, because I really missing having, I like bling on this. I thought some of the charms, but okay. Sometimes you look at this and you're like, that's just way too many colors. They, you know, so many bright colors. But every time you pull out one thread and put it next to one where you're working on, you're like, oh, I love these together. So it's,
and that's why, why I like them is that the colors are so bright and happy, but it doesn't look childlike. Whatever she does, it really works.
Yeah. And I'm so glad I picked a sort of a neutral linen because it just doles down those colors just a touch because you can see through it. So Autumn Bird, I'm sure this will be done soon. And it's really been my main cross stitch. I find when I'm traveling, I'm not working on lots of different cross stitches. I'm working on like 1 at a time. And I think you're finding this too. I thought I was gonna have so much time, but between traveling and spending time with the girls, I'm not having that much craft. I'm having less crafting time than I would at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I am
like happily, right? I'm not complaining. So, all right, what's your next whip?
Okay, so the other, I'm just laughing because the start is so small, but I'm really.
Okay, now I can't wait. Is it big macrame or something?
There's someone we love very much who really likes Christmas and really likes patriotic. So I need to do some patriotic thing for that person. So I found this Santa that has a bunch of flags. So I'm just, this is part of a larger piece, but I'm just doing the Santa. And here's my start. But it's so cute. It's this.
What is that?
This is the green part is a hand and this is a cuff.
Okay.
That's why I'm laughing, but I wanted to show it anyway. It's this middle part of him.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now I have a context. I know exactly who you're making that for, and that person's gonna love it. Love it.
By the way,
excuse me 1 second. Hi, Morgan. Yeah. Okay. Somebody was coming back.
I don't have any worries about anybody. Like, oh, this is not exactly even a surprise, but a lot of people in our family have said things to me like, they're really, really, really supportive of us, but they are not really interested in watching our videos.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can like say anything we want and show anything we want, and nobody's really gonna.
We can just talk about anybody, do any surprise things. I know. But you know what?
I totally understand.
I totally understand. And like some of our extended families, especially we call them Gen 3, like our parents are Gen 1, we're Gen 2, our kids are Gen 3 and their partners. And one of the partners is like, your videos are more than 10 minutes. Like, can't even believe that we make them that long and that people actually watch them. So
Right,
so funny.
right.
So funny.
But our stitching friends understand.
They totally understand. I know. Sometimes people are going like, they're so long, but I know like sometimes if I'm going to watch a video, sometimes if they're only like 20 minutes, I'm like, that's not enough because I'm sitting down, I'm stitching. I like it to go like, I don't know.
I like them in many lengths and in many
That's
shapes
true.
and sizes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my
Okay.
next work in progress, this is a bag. I thought you all might like seeing these knitting bags. This is another really great bag. Okay, sure. It has a winter theme, but I don't care. This is made by a woman. Her handle is Fat Squirrel. She has great Instagram, and has a great, it's not a floss tube because she's mainly knitting, and then she also makes these bags. I think that's as her living, she makes the bags, but she always has really great fabric, really high quality bags. And so this is a bag by the Fat Squirrel, and it's the blanket for baby Jay.
Oh, yes. New colorway.
New colorways, and for this, it's a variation on Espace Tricot's chevron baby blanket pattern. I'll put a picture of it right here. And the way I changed it up was I added this texture element. Can you see? Sometimes it has ridges and sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
Okay. And it's going to go through, and also put a picture of all the yarns I'm going to put in it. So it will be striped. And I have a few of them here. Next is going to be this sort of light gray. A lot of people, when I put a poll up, said don't include the light gray, but I'm going to put it in and see how it goes. And then I'll take it out if I don't like it. My magic bag down here has my other colors.
And then when you put up the different choices, I'm like, I like them all. Any of them, I like them all.
And the reason I like the gray, it is now rolled on the floor, I can't show it, because the next one is this very light kind of pistachio green that I actually think will look that will transition nicely with that gray.
Yeah.
Then next comes a slightly darker green.
Pretty.
Followed by this lighter blue. And this was the color the parents really liked. It's like a periwinkle blue. So then I'm going to repeat this again at the end to have more.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
And when I'm doing this section, can you see these like a chevron V?
Yes.
All of the other colors are going to have 3 repeats of those V's, but the periwinkle is going to have 5. So we'll also at the beginning and the end have a bigger one for that. So as like the bookends. And as Anna knows, I had the hardest time finding yarn. I must have ordered from like 3 different places. It wasn't quite right. Then I found something I thought was okay, and I had started the blanket, and I'm like, I don't know. And I showed it to Anna and Joan, and they're like, no, ditch it. It's like totally wrong. It's like totally wrong. It's for a granddaughter. No. And then my sister Joan turned me onto this yarn, and again, it's I think the company's Rose Gray Wool, and it's called the Merino Treat, or Lovely Merino Treat. Rosy green. Whatever I said. Rosy green yarn, and I love it. It's a very nice wool. I'm so happy I restarted it, and I am like all in to this blanket, all in. So thank you, Anna and Joan, for being like, no, you're done with that other one, and encouraging. So, and also once you get going on something like this and you like it, I've just been like knitting. So this
I can even tell like pushiness of the yarn as you're handling it. So it looks really, I can't wait to touch it.
Yeah, so happy with it. Totally the right choice. So happy. That's my other knitting it, and I'll also be working on that on our van ride home. We have lots of hours. We're just going to be cranking it out day after day, so we'll be able to do that.
Okay. Well, look at the colors in the sky.
Yeah, I know. All right, that brings us to our thumbs up, thumbs down. Why don't you go first? And that thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't do thumbs down. That's not our style. Thumbs up. What are our thumbs up?
All righty. My thumbs up often have to do with food, I have
That's
to
okay.
say.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. My first thumbs up is a kid's size soft serve cone. So it's hard to find soft serve where we live, and it's easy to find soft serve here.
Mhm.
And so the other night, still warm in the evening, and we walked to a soft serve place. I got a kid's chocolate cone, with chocolate sprinkles, and I was in heaven. So good. And just like in general, I have some favorite East Coast eats. So the soft
Mhm.
serve cones, and then I found a coffee shop called Compass Coffee, which I wasn't familiar with, and it is yummy.
And can you walk to it from your Airbnb?
Yeah, and I've been walking over to MK and B's in the morning
Mhm.
to take care of baby E. And so I stop and get my coffee, and then my walk is about 20 minutes, half hour, sipping my coffee in the morning. It's been delightful.
That's nice.
Yeah. So second thumbs up for me is our Airbnb, as you can get a suggestion here, has these, we're on a corner of a big apartment building, and it has huge, like floor to ceiling windows. And we've had a couple of thunderstorms. So I have been sitting with my lamp and watching the lightning it feels like it's outside the window because we're up high and these huge windows. So I already mentioned I love the East Coast thunderstorms, and just there's something about these windows. So that's my number 2.
Now let's put a little context because some of our viewers may not know this. In California, we don't get thunderstorms. Like occasionally we'll get like one lightning and one thunder, and it's all over the news, like what to do. But we don't get anything like what we get out in the East Coast. So it's always a treat when we're traveling.
Right. So at 4 PM when you get that little updraft under the leaves, you think, oh, maybe a thunderstorm's coming. And then the third thing is I am just enjoying Gen 3 so much. I'm spending a lot of time with my own adult children and our nieces and nephews, and like you said, their partners. They are just interesting and kind and supportive and funny, and it is just so fun. And also during this time, they're not working every day, so they're having a little vacation time too, and there's just so much time to go out to eat and do things together and just sit around, and it's just.
Are you seeing other Gen 3 besides your daughter and son-in-law right now? Or just you're thinking in general, because you're going to see a bunch of them
and just our texting and the anticipation.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, have I seen anybody else in Gen 3? I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if anybody was in DC getting ready for our next part of the vacation. I know it's so fun to watch Gen 3 because many of them now are in their 30s. Even getting into my son's the oldest, and he'll be 35 in September, the oldest one. And just fun to see what direction their lives have gone in and what they're doing and who their partners are, who they picked. And it's so fun. And then especially now with Gen 4 coming along, seeing everybody as parents and what that looks like for them. So super fun.
So seeing childhood friends and seeing extended family in general, but Gen 3 is really knocking it out of the park.
They are.
Yeah.
Good job, Gen 3.
Yeah. Good. All right. What about you, Carolyn? Thumbs up.
So my number 1 thumbs up, and this, I'm going to show you a picture of this thing I'm about to talk about, and some of you might find this really repulsive, but it is the best. And this is a steamed blue crab. Comes from the Chesapeake Bay area. You can only get them here on the East Coast. At the beach, we have a crab feast at least once. This time we had it twice. And you eat there. They're coated in this thing called Old Bay, which is sort of the salty, spicy thing. And you dip them in butter and a little extra Old Bay. And part of the fun for me is I think they're delicious, but it's an event to have a crab feast because you lay out this paper, everyone sits around the table, and you're just like, you're picking them, cracking them open and picking them and eating the meat. I know that's going to be totally gross out some people, but if you're a blue crab lover, I know Anna doesn't like seafood, so this is probably going to gross her out, or she's come to a crab feast before with us and
I just sit a few yards away.
Yeah, I know. And people say, oh, like the Dungeness crabs on the West Coast are good. No, they're good too, but something about these blue crabs, they're amazing. So that's thumbs up number 1. Thumbs up number 2 is I love a good book series. So when I was in Beacon with my son's family, they turned me on. They read a lot of science fiction and I don't. So they started me on this trilogy. It's called the Broken Earth Trilogy. And the author is N.K. Jemisin right here. And this trilogy, and she was the first author. She won the Hugo Award, which I think is the big award for science fiction, on all 3 of the books in this trilogy.
Wow.
And one thing I don't like about science fiction is I don't like ones that are about battles and intergalactic politics. That kind of thing isn't that interesting to me, but this is all about more the personal side, the people side, and the world building. I have enjoyed these so much, and so I'm on book 3, and I finished book 2 at the beach. I'm like, they have this little bookstore down on our little drag on the beach. I'm like, they better have book 3. They better have book 3. So I ran down there a couple days ago, and they had book 3. So I'm on to that. So just, especially when you're on vacation, I have a lot more reading time, and I want a paper book because I'll read up at the beach sometimes. I'm loving this series. So super fun. Broken Earth trilogy for that. And then my thumbs up number 3, I'm just going to say spending time with the granddaughters. So just, especially for the 2-year-old toddlers, we've had so much fun up at the beach. And one thing for me is things that kids like to do at the beach. It's what I like to do. Like, give me a
dig a hole and fill it with water.
Digging a hole, digging for sand crabs, making little castles, jumping in the waves. I love it. That's what I want to do at the beach. I'm not as much of a sitter. So the kids kind of are camouflage for me to make it like age appropriate for me to do the things that I'm like. And in fact, a lot of the pictures of me at the beach, I'm like with my shovel and I'm digging a hole someplace. And the girls might be doing something totally different, but I'm like digging away. So just really having that time with them, and particularly at the beach where it's just, whatever they want to do, we're just doing. And again, it's that luxury when you're a parent and you have things you have to get done with the day. Sometimes you have to like, come on kids, we got to go do this. But when you're a grandparent, you really can do what they want to do and just kind of follow along. And that's been really, really, really fun.
I've been enjoying that aspect too.
Also, the 2 of the older ones are just really been really into art. And I went to Michael's before we came to the beach, and I thought I overbought art supplies. I was just like, oh, they might like this, they might like that. And then every couple of days, I just pull out a different art supply and kind of have it out on the table. We've gone through everything. They've done everything. Yeah, it's been so much fun. So that's thumbs up number 3.
You're a good Gramsy.
I like being Gramsy. And they both have the 2-year-olds both have a variation of Gramsy. They're getting there. Like one is like Gamsy. Oh. Says Gamsy, and then M says Gammy. So we're gonna stick on Gramsy and have them keep working on it, but they now actually can say something to refer to me. So
that's cute.
Super fun.
That's cute.
All right, so fun seeing you, Anna, in person, and have fun at your next vacation part. And I'll see you when we get home. I'll already be in school. You'll be in school right when you come back. So.
Yeah. And looking forward to, we have so much to look forward to see each other in person and actually touch each other's projects and see the colors and everything. And then sampler September.
I know. Okay. So our next episode, we'll be back in our normal spot, sitting next to each other normally. And that'll be a great time to kind of have our plans together for sampler September. Cause I'm all in this year and want to do some samplers for that.
Right. Right. It occurred to me because I have a couple ideas, and then I saw someone else say something like, "This is the sampler I'm going to do in September." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm only supposed to pick one."
I'm gonna have 2. I think I'm gonna have 2.
Okay. Yeah. And then we have our Katie Strachan winter kits waiting for us too when we get back. So.
Oh, okay, good. So
they arrived.
Oh, good. Okay, I can't wait for those. So. All right, so let's say bye. So until next time. Happy crafting.
And stay curious.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Carolyn.
Bye, Anna.
worked in the
Yeah,
other.
okay, yeah, because we'll be able to cut this out, or you can show us next time.
Okay, okay, good.
Okay. I'm talking to you now, but we'll cut this out next time. Hopefully, if I can edit the video. If for some reason I can't edit the video, you're just gonna see me talking here while Annie is going to bed. All right, what else should I say to fill this in?